okay? And we're going to dive into this right now. So I hope all of you guys are taking notes. And I just want to make sure who is excited to learn about these 7 steps on how to run an effective webinar that is going to crush your business and grow your business. Who is excited? Go ahead and type in if you are excited to learn these 7 steps about how to make this a baller webinar for yourself. I'm seeing everyone saying yes and excited and super excited. Okay, cool. So here it is, guys. Make sure you get out a new piece of paper because this is going to be a lot of information. I'm going to fly by. So there's 7 steps to a webinar. There's 3 phases to a successful webinar launch. There's the setup phase, which includes the registration page, the thank you page, the email sequence that you set out, the timing of the emails, the time of the webinar, the information, the bullets, everything to go out to set up the webinar. The webinar slides is part of the setup process. So that's phase 1. This is phase 2, which you actually have all that done already, which I talk about how to do all that very easily in the advanced training, which I'll share with you guys in a bit. I show you how to do all 3 phases efficiently and get it all set up in a few hours. But this is phase 2 that I'm going to give you guys right now. This is the 7 steps throughout the webinar on how to run an effective webinar and really captivate your audience, keep them connected, give them great content, and then how to transition into offering your product or service at the very end. So that's phase 2. Then phase 3, which I've also have in my advanced training, is the follow-up process. So what do you do after the webinar? Most people do a webinar, then they stop. But really, you can get double the amount of sales if you follow a process afterwards, which is there a replay? Sometimes there's not a replay. Is there a follow-up homework? Is there follow-up calls, emails? I give you that entire process in the advanced training as well, okay? But I'm going to go through phase 2 right now, which is where most people have hiccups because they don't know how to run a webinar. So the very first part is the meet and greet. This is 5 minutes before the call. I like to do a sound check, and I come on a few minutes early, do a sound check. I welcome attendees. I ask you guys, how are my audio sounding? I ask you to share something on Twitter or let me know what you're most grateful for. Some of you who were on here early remember this. You saw the first slide. You saw that I asked you to let me know what you're most grateful for. I see a bunch of tweets that came through of people, and I appreciate you guys connecting with me in that way. I usually play some music sometimes. I didn't this time, but I'll put it on early and play some music to get people excited. And I let people know that we'll begin shortly. And again, I put the link to the webinar on there and have people share the webinar. So that's some of the things to do to get people engaged early on. And you want to set this up beforehand. You don't want to just show up at the top of the hour and say, all right, guys, let's jump right in. You want to get people warmed up, okay? So you want to get people loose, warmed up. You want to, wink at them, flirt with them a little bit, do whatever it is to connect with them. I like to ask people, where are you calling in from the world, just to get an idea of where my audience is, okay? That's part 1, the meet and greet. It's the first 5 minutes, okay? But it's very important to do that to set people up. Number 2 is the welcome. So a quick little introduction about, I'm Lewis Howes. Thanks for coming on. Here is the webinar that you're going to be learning. Today we're going to be covering this. There's an agenda. I have some house cleaning, some housekeeping, and then I tell you exactly what we're covering. This is important. You want to tell people exactly what you're going to be covering. And I gave you guys an agenda with a number of different points so that you know what's going to be happening next. As opposed to just running through without telling you what's going to happen, I'm covering, we're going to start with this, and then I'm going to share with you guys my strategy, and then I'm going to share with you some case studies, and then I'm going to tell you how to take it to the next level, because all the people that get results take action, and they go to the next level with it, and they start making serious income from it. So I show you guys an agenda. That's important to have. If you don't have that, you're just missing out. The next part is your story. Your story. And this is kind of like the 5 to 15 minute mark. So you want to give your credentials. And I asked you guys, I said, how many of you have heard about me before, and how many of you have not heard about me? And it was about 50-50, okay? Which is great. So I get to introduce myself to people who have not heard about me. And every webinar does this, from the bigger corporations to entrepreneurs. The ones that are successful, they introduce the speaker. A lot of times a company will bring on a host and then someone who's interviewing the host. And that interviewer will introduce the person for them, right? So let's say, welcome this person. He's an SEO expert. He's written a New York Times bestseller on SEO. He writes for this company and this website. He's the chief SEO person for this brand, blah, 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 blah. And they'll kind of like let them know their credentials. Because if you're doing a webinar on SEO, but you're not showing why you're credible, why you're the source or one of the top sources on it, then it's going to be really hard to connect with an audience that doesn't know anything about you yet to believe in that information. So you've got to set yourself up to win by sharing your story. And a lot of people will be like, oh, get to the content right away, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't get to the person's story and give a little bio or background, then the content is going to be irrelevant, because people are going to say, well, how come this content is true? How do you know it's true? They're going to come back to questioning that at the end. Well, how do I know you've done this or gotten results? So you got to give your credentials. And, this is a picture of me receiving an award for being one of the top 100 entrepreneurs in the country at the White House. Obama gave me a letter, signed it, thanking me for my service in helping the economy as a young entrepreneur, right? Then you got to talk about your experience, about how you got into it. So I talked about, I was playing professional football and I got injured and I didn't know what to do, but I got an opportunity to do a webinar. I had never seen one before or heard of it. I did it and I made $6,200, and here's what I learned. So I share with you guys my story and all the information I've learned, right? What was possible for me when I was doing webinars. Talking about the struggle, the pain points, and then the solution. So really on an educational webinar, guys, people have a pain point. They have a problem, and it's your job to give them a solution. Give them something available for them to take action on or them to apply that's going to solve their problem. If you're not solving a problem, then you're wasting people's time. And if you're not giving great content, you're wasting people's time, and you shouldn't do a webinar. You really want to over-deliver as much as possible. Point 4 is the content. Now, in the beginning part of the webinar, I gave you guys a bunch of stats. I gave you some data, because you want to throw in the data. You want to tell stories, but you also want to give data, because it's going to back up all your stories, and it's going to prove why it all works. So I gave you stories, and I also gave you data about, our interaction, how long people stay on, the audience length, and all those different things, right? I gave you case studies of a number of different people who weren't making that much money before webinars. Then after webinars, it's the only thing they focus on, because they're making more money than they've ever dreamed of in their life, right? After webinars, they're making more money than they've ever dreamed of in their entire life, and they have more time and flexibility to spend it with their loved ones. Then you share your formula, your strategy, your system, your whatever, your tips that are going to help people solve that problem, okay? And this is what I'm teaching you guys right now. I'm showing you 7 steps to running an effective webinar. And what you do is you teach the what. So I'm teaching you what you need to do. But in the advanced training or the software or the coaching and consulting or the done-for-you service that you're going to provide at the end, it's then like the how. So what you need to do and what you can do on your own. But if you want to accelerate this, I'm going to show you how you can do that at the end with my advanced webinar system. Or if you have, if you do design work for people, you're gonna show them how to do it with your service, right? And you're gonna show them the how it's done. If it's a software, you're gonna show them how to use the software and how to take action next with the software that will accelerate this. Okay, it's all about offering it at a higher value when you offer something for sale. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but you're able to take notes fast enough. I want to get through the rest of this because we've got some great information still to come. So then this is a value. Each one of these points are extremely valuable, and you've got to do them all in order. If you skip around, it's not going to be as effective. And again, this is me testing this of over 5 years of doing webinars, well over 500 webinars live that I've done, and lots of different experience on many different webinars and many different industries, consulting, coaching, and making tons of mistakes. Okay, so you got to do this in order. And number 5 is the close. So when you do an educational free webinar where you're giving people great tips and solving a problem on the free webinar, you're doing people a disservice if you're not offering something at the end to take action on. And some of you may say, I don't like selling. I don't want to feel salesy if I do a webinar. Or maybe you've been on webinars where you felt like it was very sleazy or salesy, or the person was not trustworthy, and you just felt like dirty or something after the webinar because of the way they were selling. So that's not what you want to do, and that's not what you want to think about. You want to reshift your mindset about sales and selling. And what I really learned was, if I'm not offering my product and positioning it in a way that makes sense for people, then I'm doing a disservice for them to not take action. Because I know when people take action on this system, it changes their life, right? When people hire me to show them this, and people pay me $5,000 an hour to show them this, when they do that, it changes their life. They make more money than they've ever made. Again, John Lee Dumas is a great example. $15,000 a month to $250,000 a month in a very short amount of time. It changes people's lives forever. So I'm doing you a disservice. You are doing people a disservice if they are not signing up for your software, for your coaching, for your fitness program, whatever it may be. A lot of fitness professionals on here, if they're not signing up for your fitness program that's going to help people lose 50 pounds and feel amazing and have more energy and have better relationships and feel better about themselves, you're doing them a disservice by not positioning it in a way so that they see the power and the potential of signing up. And you've got to get over yourself of thinking that you're being salesy. You've got to really get over that, because when people do sign up and then they see the results, they are thanking you forever for giving them the nudge to take action. So hopefully I'm resonating, and does this resonate with anyone? Let me know if this is landing for you, if this is connecting with you, that you've got to position it in a way so that people take action. And if they don't, that's your fault, because people need to be inspired to take action. They need to see all the potential. They need to make it happen, okay? And you need to make it happen for them. You can't just expect everyone to see it and then you just say, okay guys, here's my link, sign up. You got to really go all the way with people and do whatever it takes, okay? This is only if you've got a great product or service. If you don't have a great product, then you shouldn't be selling. So you got to make sure that you've got great testimonials, you've got great case studies, you've done the work yourself first, you know your system, your solution works, and you've gotten lots and lots of results for other people. If you don't have that, you've got to make sure you get that first. So do it for free for people, so you've got those case studies, you know it works, okay? So I'm glad to see this is resonating for everyone and you're seeing this. Yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, yes, this resonates with me. Cool. So you got to introduce the problem. The problem is a lot of people are doing the wrong things, marketing. They're doing things that aren't effective. They're just doing social media. They think they can just throw up a Facebook page and they're going to get sales. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not what's going to get you 6 and 7 figures, just running a Facebook page, unless you've got a couple million fans and you really learn how to target that. But if you're just starting out, you've got a couple thousand fans, quit spending time on Facebook. You're just posting up content and trying to get leads or something, people to go to your page to sign up for something. You got to start integrating it in a different way. Use Facebook to generate leads for webinars, right? Use webinars, connect with your audience and tell a story, give them great information. But if you're just sending people to a page to go sign up for something, you're not being as efficient and effective as you could be. And I want you guys to stop that and start doing webinars. Whether you get my advanced training or not, commit to doing webinars and learning them, okay? I just don't know another place you can get better information than from my program. But if you want to do it on your own, then all power to you. Just make the commitment to yourself to make it happen, okay? So you want to introduce the program and then talk about your product, your service, your boot camp, your software, your coaching, whatever it is you have to offer to solve someone's pain. You got to introduce that, okay? And you really got to go over everything they get. So teach what they're going to get. Go over all the steps. Take some time to deliver that information. Don't rush through it. Talk about the testimonials. Again, you got to prove that it works. Show some case studies. And I'm going to show you guys some case studies of people that just got my program and started seeing results within a short amount of time. Give a guarantee. So maybe there's a guarantee, maybe there's not a guarantee. Whatever you have, let them know about it so they're not asking about it. Talk about the benefits of your product, the value of your product, the price of your product. Then you've got to give a clear call to action, whether this is a checkout link, whether this is, send me an email, whether this is a sign up for the application, whether this is sign up for a 15-minute phone call consultation to see if you're the right fit, whatever it may be, a 1-800 number to call in to a phone line. Give a clear call to action and give it over and over again. And really give people a reason to buy. Give people a reason to buy right now. And so you're going to see, I'm going to create a reason for you to buy right now, because for those that think and wait and think about it and let me talk it over and let me analyze and stay in my head, those are the ones who aren't making the money they want to make right now. And that's because they're always thinking. They're always thinking. They don't take action. They don't commit to themselves to take action. They overanalyze. And, I've been there before. I've overanalyzed many times. And when I find that when I take the most action, when I just trust my instincts and I take action and I'm committed, and it's usually when I'm a little bit afraid. It's usually when I'm a little bit afraid or I'm like anxious or excited, that's when I need to take the action the most. But when you commit to that and then you just say, okay, I'm going to do this because I know it works, other people it works for them, and big companies do this, small companies do this, I'm going to commit to it, that's when you get the results. It may not happen right away. It may take a little bit of time. A lot of people, it happens pretty early on. But when you commit to this, you will get results. If you've got a great product, service to offer, and you use my system, you will get results, okay? You want to create a reason, again, for people to buy right now, whether this is, a price reason, a limited availability, whatever it may be. If you're doing coaching, you may only be able to have 10 clients at a time. So you can say, listen, I've got 5 spots at this because I don't have 80 hours in a day to do, hundreds of coaching calls. So there's different things you can do with this, okay? I like to incentivize people for taking action. I give you guys a 15-minute window. You're going to see this. I give you a 15-minute window to take action. And for those that take action in the 15-minute window, I give you crazy bonuses that are going to help you and take you and support you at a whole nother level. Okay, I give you stuff that's going to really support you. So for those that take action, they get rewarded. That's what I believe in. Those that feel the fear and do it anyways, those are the ones that get results. And this is what my clients pay me $5,000 an hour, and I'm sure it's scary for them to send me a check for $5,000 before they get any results, before our first coaching call. But once they start taking action, they're making money that they never even dreamed of, okay? And this is the same thing for a book, buying a product, buying a software, whatever it may be. You got to be committed to taking the action. Then point 6 is the Q&A. So I like to go over questions for 15 minutes while people are buying. And I congratulate people who are buying, because I really like to acknowledge those that are committed to getting results in their life and committed to solving the problem that they have. Again, a lot of people are not happy with the amount of income they're making, and they're frustrated that they're not getting their message out there to more people. So for those that take action and are committed to getting the solution to this problem, I am so proud of them for taking that action, and I acknowledge them. Those that don't take action, it's okay, but you're just going to continue to be in that frame where you're going to be frustrated, and it's not going to change until you take action on something. So whether this is it or something else, you got to change something to get a different result. If you just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So you've got to make a change at some point, And those that analyze and wait usually don't get any results. So again, I congratulate people for making the commitment. And then the 7th point, I share my final thoughts, and I say, my thank yous, and I say goodbye. So that's the 7 steps to running an effective webinar and generating tens of thousands of dollars on the webinar. And I wish I could share with you more of the other 2 phases and really dive into these 7 steps, because I just scratched the surface with these 7 steps. Because really, you've got to avoid the common webinar mistakes. You want to create the perfect slides. You want to be able to close sales with your webinar. And in my advanced training, I share with you on how to do all of this. Creating, how many of you guys have noticed a certain style of these slides? And you've noticed that you've really taken a lot of notes, and you've been engaged, and you've been focusing, and you like the flow of these slides. How many of you have noticed that you like the flow of these slides? Go ahead and type in. Yeah, Jen said they're simple. Yes, says Sharon. Yes, sir. Says Brian. I dig it, says Mike. Nobiletti, I think your last name is. Julia said yes. Very easy to read, said Andrea. Me, they're easy, quick flows. Very good. Yes, yes, yes. Derek Alexander said. Marcus says yes. So there's a reason. In my advanced training, you get this perfect slide system that I've created that flows. All you got to do is plug in your content. So I wish I could share with you guys more on how to do that, but that's what I have in my advanced training, and I'm going to share with you guys in a second. But